Om Sri Sai Ram, Gita Vahini, Chapter 17. Remembering God at Death. Two types of liberation. Four roads to moksha. Auspicious times to pass away. Whoever is busy with no other thoughts than those about me, whoever is ever remembering me, that person certainly will release their dying breath through the center of the head. That person will attain me. I am as near to people as they are to me, my dear Arjuna. How can I forget the one who never forgets me? Forgetting is a human frailty, not a characteristic of God. Let me tell you, there is no need for yoga or spiritual exercise or even wisdom. It does not matter whether you give these up because you are too weak or whether, in spite of having the strength, you don't feel like struggling to master these. I don't ask for yoga or spiritual exercise. I ask only that your mind be fixed on me, devote your mind to me, dedicate it to me. That is all I ask for. If a spiritual aspirant cannot do at least this act of dedication to the Lord, I wonder what their spiritual discipline is capable of. If you plead that you don't have the strength of mind, I ask where the strength comes from to dedicate yourselves as you do now to hollow ideals, the vain fantasies of family, fortune and fame. Can't you direct this strength for that supreme dedication? People easily offer their all to poisonous objective pleasures, but they scream and protest as if a mountain is tumbling on them when the call is made to dedicate their thoughts, feelings and acts to the Almighty. In their eyes, salvation is as cheap and easy to attain as greens in the vegetable market. They seek to escape from bondage as easily as that. They do not earn much, but they desire to earn much in the spiritual field. They are sunk more in dullness, tamas, than in spiritual penance, tapas. But they wish for the fruits that only spiritual penance can offer. Those prompted by genuine desire for the fruit must overcome all obstacles and temptations, doubts and disappointments, and dwell on the thought of the Lord. Then the Lord will not keep apart. He will confer on that aspirant the status of sameness described as I am divine, you are I, we are one, aham brahmasmi, and the aspirant will be contemplating this unity without a break. Then Arjuna asked, you say that this thinking only of the Supreme Spirit, this one pointed devotion is quite easy, and that there is no need to take any greater trouble. You also declare that for those who have acquired it, you are readily attainable. Well, what exactly is the benefit of attaining you? Krishna smiled at this and replied, Arjuna, what greater benefit is there than that? That holy victory makes a mortal a great soul, Mahatma. You may still pose the question of what benefit is it to become a great soul. Listen, the great soul is far superior to the ordinary person. The latter is established in the body and the soul, Jiva. That latter identifies with the body and with the breath, with the particular, the wave. So the ordinary person is tossed about by joy and grief and rises and falls with each experience. Between snatches of calm and storm, the ordinary person reels under many a blow. The great soul is free from all dual experience, is above and behind. The great soul has released itself from identity with the particularized and is in the universal, eternal, and changeless, the changeless absorbed in the Brahman, not the body. The great soul knows that the Atma is not a limited entity and feels that it extends beyond all limits. The great soul is from free the blemish of dullness, tamas, and passion, rajas, and is neither dull nor driven about by desire. The great soul's pure consciousness is unaffected by attachment or hate. Many who style themselves as such nowadays have no purity in their hearts. Their consciousness is soiled by foulness, but the pure in heart have no further birth and death. They are under no obligation to appear again on earth. Without attaining that purity, you cannot escape the round of birth and death. However many your meritorious deeds, however high your spiritual status, however glorious the heaven you have secured, only those who are perpetually absorbed in Brahman can attain this timeless me and be freed from the chain by merging in me. At this, Arjuna gave expression to another doubt that worried him. He asked, if that is to say, why do the Upanishads declare that those who reach heaven need not be born again? Please clarify exactly who is freed from this cycle of birth and death. Arjuna, two types of liberation are mentioned in the Upanishads. Liberation on the spot, Sadhyo Mukti, and liberation by stages, Krama Mukti. Liberation on the spot is also referred to as absolute unity with the Supreme Spirit, Kaivalya Mukti. For earning this, no one need aspire to any heaven. They get this on the spot and not by stages, step by step. Liberation secured thus is a position forever. Only those who attain absolute liberation, Kaivalya, merge and become one with the eternal, the universal. The other kind of liberation is liable to change when the effect of the acquired merit wears out. Heaven has to be given up and life on earth starts anew. Such souls know merging. That is to say, intercepted Arjuna, the souls that attain absolute unity, liberation are destroyed, right? Or is there any difference between merging, laya, and destruction, nasa? No, Partha, merging is not destruction. Merging happens when it becomes invisible. That is what happens when a thing is destroyed. It becomes invisible. We cannot see it anymore. But just because a thing is out of sight, how can you pronounce it destroyed? No. A lump of sugar or salt disappears when placed in water. You see it no more. But can you say it has been destroyed, or do you say it has merged? It is there. The taste declares that it has lost the form, but it is present as its quality guna. The soul also merges like this in Brahman. It is not destroyed at all. When the soul is not merged like this, it can at best only wander between heaven and earth, deserving life in heaven for some time and descending again to earth for further effort towards salvation. Arjuna, still afflicted with doubt, asked, Krishna, you say that no heaven, even the highest region of Brahman can save people from the cycle of birth and death. Then what is the royal road to salvation? Do you mean to say that those who strive for those heavens have to satisfy themselves with just that and no more? Krishna answered, Partha, there is a state that knows no decline. Behind all these events, there are many roads by which that state can be won. Unaware of these roads or of the joy of that state, people are taking no to others that are either crooked or comfortable. They don't know how to distinguish between the right road and the wrong. I may tell you that 4 roads are now used by mankind, behind or unaffected by action, karma, atita, 2. Action without any desire for the fruit thereof, unaffected by any craving for the result therefrom, nishikama karma. 3rd. Action with ambition to reap and enjoy its fruits, sakama karma. 4. Action that knows no restraint or control, karma brasta. Those behind action, karma, are liberated while alive or jiva muktis. All their actions have been burned up by the fire of wisdom. Their impulses for action have been scorched by the wisdom they have gained. They have no further need for injunctions and prohibitions. They need no spiritual exercise like charity, virtuous living, or austerity. All that they do or feel or think will be divine, holy, virtuous, beneficial to mankind. The very earth they tread on is sacrosanct. Every word they utter will be the word of God. On death their breath need not take them to realms that are heavenly. On the falling away of the bodily raiment, they merge without delay in Brahman. Such are the souls who were described by me now as having absolute liberation, attainment of Brahman, or instant liberation. Next, the second group, who do action without desire for the fruit. These are the seekers of liberation, mumukshas. Alert on the path of liberation and intent on attaining it, they perform each act as a step in the realization of the Lord. So, they can never do anything bad. They don't look forward to the result. They leave it to the Lord to give it or withhold it. They are not prompted by worldly motives or even by the desire to gain heavenly pleasures. Their aim is just this: liberation from the bondage of the objective world. They win the grace of the Lord in proportion to the steadiness of their faith and practice. The third group performs all acts through the desire for the fruit thereof. Since they have an eye on the successful earning of the fruit, they will engage themselves only in acts that are approved by the scriptures. They will not do any sinful or prohibited act. They will equate with each act with the merit it will confer, the happiness it will ensure, the heaven it will win. Such people, when they depart from this world, will enter the supra-mundane world for which they have sought and worked, and having stayed there as long as their merit entitles them, they have to return to the earth. The fourth group is not guided by any rule of conduct. They have no norms, no discrimination between virtue and vice, right and wrong, proper and improper. They have no horror of hell, no conception of heaven, no dread of the devil, no reverence for God, no respect for the scriptures, no vision of dharma. They are best pictured as the beasts in human form. The majority of humans are members of this unfortunate group. They strive for momentary pleasure, short-lived happiness, temporary joy, and evanescent comfort. To call them apes with human physique would be a big mistake, for the ape only jumps from branch to branch or from tree to tree. It releases itself from the one branch and tree before landing on another. People are more like caterpillars which move from leaf to leaf, fixing their foreparts on the new leaf before releasing their hind part from the leaf on which they were resting until then. That is to say, by their acts in this life, people decide on their next birth, where and how it will be. Even before leaving this world, the new place is ready for them. Their foreparts are already there. It is only after settling this that they relieve themselves of the hold of this on this world. Such people move around in the wheel of birth and death. To be born and to die, one must have auspicious moments that will guarantee a wise life and a worthwhile end. Arjuna, yogis, for example, give up life only at auspicious moment, not at other times. That is why people say death is the witness for the good. An auspicious moment is to be chosen even for the act of death. Arjuna asked Krishna, tell me when the body has to be yielded to death in order to escape the cycle of birth and death. Tell me also the period of time to avoid. Krishna replied, Partha, your question is very timely and urgent. Sometimes you make me marvel at your intelligence and make me very happy. At other times you make me laugh at your ignorance. Your egotism and sense of attachment cause this confusion. Let that pass. Let us come to your questions. The yogis who practice action without desire for the fruit pass away in splendor, tejas, during the day, while there is light in the bright half of the month, and in the 6 months period of the northward path of the sun, Uttarayana, they have fire as their first state. Hence, their path is known as the path of the gods, or since fire is known also as Archi or in the Vedas as the path beginning with fire or the sun's rays, Archi Radhi Marga. Such yogis emerge from effulgence, Prakasha, and travelling through effulgence merge in effulgence itself. They attain Brahman and are not born again. The yogis who practice action with an eye on the fruit pass away in smoke, dhuma, at night. During the dark half of the month, during the 6 months of the southward path of the sun, Dakshinayana, they go along the path beginning with the smoke, dhuma, adimarga, reach heaven and there enjoy the pleasure they have earned and worked for. When the stock of merit is exhausted, they get born again. Both these categories are called yogis. They will exist as long as aspirants and active progressive individuals exist in the world. Hence, a doubt may reasonably arise, why is the bright half of the month auspicious while the dark half is not? What again happens to those who die when it is neither bright nor dark, neither day nor night? This is a legitimate doubt and everyone has a right to know the answer. Now you must first understand what is meant by the bright fortnight, Shukla Paksha. It is the half month when the light of the moon increases day by day. But what is the relationship the light of the moon to a person and their death? The moon is the symbol of the mind of people. Out of the mind was the moon born. Chandrama Manaso Jata. Therefore, the bright half of the moon signifies the progress of the mind spiritually in divine discipline, and the full moon signifies the fullness of that achievement. Thus, the bright half is the period when spiritual progress is attained. For the body, the visible moon; for the mind, the symbolic moon deity presiding over the mind. The increasing splendor of the mind due to the increasing realization of one's own divinity is what is meant by the word bright half, Shukla Paksha. And what of the 6 months during which the sun travels north, Uttarayana? Be free from doubt on that score too. Worship offered knowing the meaning of every rite and spiritual disciplines practice, knowing the implications of every step. These cleanse the heart more effectively and loosen the chains of doubt. The time of the northward path of the sun is the period when no dot of cloud or whiff of fog contaminates the vast dome and the sun shine in all his grace. This is the gross meaning, but there is a subtle one too. The heart is the inner sky. There the sun that shines is intelligence, buddhi. When the clouds of ignorance, the fog of egotism and the smoke of the attachment hover in that inner sky, the sun of intelligence is hidden and things look murky and mistaken. The time of the northward movement of the sun of the heart is when the inner sky is clear of all these, and when the sun shines in full splendor, you must have heard the expression, the sun of wisdom, Jnana Bhaskara. The sun is always associated with wisdom and intelligence. When people pass away with this equipment of the effulgent sun of wisdom in their clear heart, they can certainly escape rebirth. They take the path of fire, Archi Radi Marga, as said already, and merge in Brahman. Those who pass away in the other half of the year during the southward path of the sun have the opposite destiny. Then the heart is beset with smoke and fog and cloud. The sun is hidden, and his effulgence has no splendor. And in the dark half of the month, the moon wanes, symbolizing the waning of Godward thoughts. The new moon night is enveloped in complete darkness, and all spiritual impulses suffer defeat. The thick smoke of ignorance lies heavily on the mind. This is the meaning of the expression dark half Krishna Paksha. Those who die at such an inauspicious time reap an inauspicious result. Jai Sai Ram.